That's Sam. His mama took off. He'll be staying with us till she's back.
You know you're a boy, right?
Yeah.
In the hours that I've known.
Do you know when my mama's coming back?
He's gonna have to go in the system.
There's something seriously wrong with that kid.
Would you set me free?
How did you end up in prison?
Don't matter. I did what I did.
Look at what you did today.
And there's nowhere to hide.
Listen to me, son. Kids are mean, especially when they see something that they ain't used to seeing.
You ain't nothing but a criminal. You got no right looking after any child.
There's things in this world you can be, and there's things that you can't. How many boys do you see on that show?
Aloha. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, bringing you today a movie review that I saw last night for a movie that came out January 29th, the last week of January 2021, called PALMER. And now this was a Apple TV original movie. And, well, without further ado, remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for the Apple TV original movie, it is a shock a thumbs up. Now, what can I say about this movie? First, it stars Justin Timberlake, Alicia Wainwright, Juno Temple, Ryder Allen, and June Squibb. Now, I'm not a big fan of Justin Timberlake's acting abilities. I think I had first seen one of his first forays into acting on Black Snake Moan, if you guys remember that movie. It was quite a while ago, and he had a co-starring part in it. Kind of a smaller part. That's just when he was starting out. He's gone on to several other movies. He still puts out his albums, his songs, which I like, from time to time. But as far as an actor, I never really, I know he had gotten better than when he started out. But, if somebody had told me that, in the year 2021, would I consider him a better actor than his wife, Jessica Biel? I would have balked at that. But I guess it's so, because, she's not doing too much acting anymore. And actually, I, on comparison, have enjoyed more of his movies than more of her movies throughout the years. Now, this is a movie called PALMER. Basically, Justin Timberlake is still a young man, just got out of serving 12 years of prison, currently on probation. We find out that he was sentenced under attempted murder, that he beat a man severely during a robbery, and went to jail for it. But he comes out, apparently a better man, attempts to find work, lives with his grandmother, as his mother had passed away, and his father had died, and actually I think his mother had disappeared, or at least, he never really knew his mother. So basically his grandmother had raised him, and she is there to give him a place to stay, allow him to look for work in the small town, and basically was his rock during those 12 years. And also, additionally, before that, growing up, never really all that affluent, just making it. But now, dirt poor. He was actually, in this small town, he was actually, we find out, a football star, had a scholarship, gone to college, but yet, due to injuries in college football during his, I think, sophomore year, he had to drop out. He lost the scholarship since he couldn't play football any longer, and unfortunately, got addicted to painkillers after the surgery, which led him into crime and further drug addiction. But having come out from prison after those 12 years, he's clean, sober, and focused on setting his life right. But of course, no one in the town will give him a break, being an ex-con. His grandmother owns her house, I guess the land on her house, and rents out a portion of it to a woman, her small kid, and I guess husband, or at least boyfriend, who stays with her, and is, basically into drugs, goes missing for many, many weeks, leaving her small, 5-year-old, 6-year-old child abandoned for Justin Timberlake's grandmother, June Squibb, to care for. And this child would be played by Ryder Allen, who does a wonderful job in this. And since he's there, since Ryder's there along with Justin Timberlake, the two, began to bond, seeing that Ryder Allen doesn't really have a solid father figure in his life. His mother's boyfriend comes and goes, often taking her with, him with her, or her with him for extended lengths of time. And during one of these long stretches of time, be it several months of her basically abandoning her son, June Squibb, unfortunately being an elderly grandmother, passes away. And Justin Timberlake has to continue to watch and care for Allen, for Ryder Allen. Having, checked in with the police to try to find the mother, and deciding ultimately that, he doesn't want to put the child into, protective services, child services. Having been in the system himself, he knows, the legal system is no place, especially for a young child. And that would totally devastate Ryder Allen. Being somewhat of a special kid, in fact. I mean, he's not, he's not mentally challenged in any way. However, in anything, he's significantly gifted in the fact that, however he was raised by his mother, having that free reign and no serious father figure, his gender identity seems to be somewhat fluid. He knows he's a boy. However, he does not. He does not feel constrained to adhere to social norms of male and female, of boy and girl. Trying on makeup. He has several, friends from class who are girls, his own age. And they have tea parties. If, one of his friends who are girls has extra dolls or gets new dolls, they give the extra dolls, the older dolls, to him to play with. And being poor, you know, his mother often neglectful. He doesn't have very many toys, in fact, and thus, you know, is just happy to have those Barbie dolls and such to play with, which really kind of irks Justin Timberlake's character a little bit. And he confronts, you know, Ryder about, you know, as you see in the trailer, it's like, hey, you know you're a boy. It's like, yeah, I know I'm a boy. It's like, well, boys don't play with dolls. And it's like, well, you know, I'm a boy and I play with dolls, so there you go, you know. He seems, you know, Ryder Allen seems very well set and firm in his gender identity, in his social identity, even at a young age. You know, which is maybe something, I suppose, you know, is probably something only, you know, someone as youthful as he could truly pull off effectively. Not having learned or been hammered into certain gender roles, you know, the rigidity of such. And Justin Timberlake finds that this kid, you know, seems overall happy. He's happiest with his grandmother and with Justin Timberlake, at least until his grandmother dies. You know, knowing that his mother doesn't care for him that well, you know, he is happy to stay with Justin Timberlake. And Timberlake seems to fall into the role of caregiver and father figure, having, you know, loved his father as he had attempted to take care of him as well as best he could until he died, never having a mother. He kind of relates a little bit to this kid, and we kind of sort of see in his mind, in the glimmer of Justin Timberlake's eyes, that maybe he feels, at first he might feel sorry for this kid, but then he feels that maybe this kid was luckier than he was, not having been forced to be in those gender roles so strongly. Thus, he is able to you know, better navigate the world. You know, we find out through hints and nods here and there that perhaps one of the reasons that Justin Timberlake had gone to prison was because he was in that macho, you know, mentality of, you know, a man has to be tough and fight, and, you know, which possibly led to his jail time, the violence, you know, dealing with problems with your fists. And then also, you know, having to stand up, you know, because it's, you know, I'm a man, I'm going to be rough and tough, and I'm going to take, you know, what society has to throw at me like that. And we find out that, you know, that, you know, maybe code of honor, that misguided sense of brotherhood, is what really gets him in trouble, as we find out later that Justin Timberlake didn't do the crime. That, you know, yes, he attempted to steal, you know, and rob, but he did not do this violent assault on, you know, this attempted murder charge. It was actually the friends that he was with. One in particular that we find out is actually the son of the sheriff in town and now is a deputy. And that Justin Timberlake had covered for his friend, his childhood friend. You know, those 12 long years in prison. Well, and so basically, you know, this is a shaka thumbs up. It is a very interesting, a very, you know, heartfelt drama of a show. Well worth, watching if you have Apple TV, that streaming service already. Although some of the reviews have kind of dinged it a little bit, I've seen, just because it is a little formulaic. A tough guy finds himself raising a small kid, and thus his life is changed. He becomes a better person while helping out the kid. The kid actually helps him out more. That's a very formulaic plot that we've seen time and time again, even in some Adam Sandler comedy movies, in fact. And so it does play towards those tropes as well. But it hits with a more serious note than some of them. And the idea that he had been to prison, and that whole dynamic there, along with, Ryder Allen's gender fluidity, I'll say, in this movie, kind of brings it up to the times, to the modern era, that maybe a lot of kids face, a lot of parents, with kids who question their identity, don't want to press, the gender stereotypes too hard either way, might get more enjoyment out of this film than possibly past films that cover the same type of overall plot dynamic. So again, it is a shock of thumbs up. Gives you a lot to think about as far as child raising, as far as life choices per se. As long as as far as going with the flow, protecting your friends, vice sacrificing your own life, etc. And it is through these two, Justin Timberlake's and Ryder Allen's relationship, that they form, an overall friendship, and, forge a new path in life that, again, have been seen before as being more positive than if they had been left to their own devices with the two never meeting. So again, if you have Apple TV, that streaming service, it is a shock of thumbs up. Check it out when you can. I'm sure this will come down to other streaming services in the future. If not, video on demand, of course. Just take a look around for it. If, kind of family dramas your cup of tea. And you won't be disappointed with this film, especially if you're a fan of Justin Timberlake. He does do a wide range in this, more so than I'd seen in his past performances. And so if you're a fan of his work, you'll definitely enjoy it as well. Again, just overall, I'd like to say that Apple TV has done pretty good with some of its series. I've been very impressed with it. And this movie, along with some of the other movies that have come out with Apple TV, it's worth a look into if you get it free with maybe your Apple iPhone subscription. Definitely take advantage of it because it's well worth it on that. I'm not sure what the service runs overall, but if you're looking for content to watch, still with no movie theaters open, and you're tired of the rest, check out Apple Plus and see if it's available for you. All right. Thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying mahalo and aloha.